right here down on towards Titan. And I'm loving it, that the fact that the teams are really making it so contentious, right? No one really having that clear rotational pathway. You got Zuxi, of course, stepping up to greet Titans, hands on, picking up a few of the grenades, looking to send them over. Tries to find a bit of a reach, but doesn't make it all the way on through just yet. Axa, going to be quite a formidable force to go up against, but let's see where those utilities rain on down. VSC trying to find a bit of that wrap around approach, as we do have Atleno now coming in with a bit of a sneaky approach here.
Oh, moving in with those nades. Puncher is going to be that connection. So Titans, they've got their work cut out for them, especially Teak and Axa, who have to take this rotation around, trying to find an angle onto Atleno, but they're just keeping themselves active. They're just keeping themselves mobile.
Well, this could be the rise of glory for VST, as they are applying quite a bit of pressure down on towards Titan. It is going to be up to Teak and Axa to lock it down. But up comes Atleno. Beautiful strategic play coming through, of course. Now the utilities are going to be raining through once again. Axa now uses the opportunity to get themselves repositioned, but Teak not looking so favorable right here. Up comes the push. They are in that party bus, and that is going to allow a lot of opportunity to come through, but it's going to be Teak now. Oh, to get knocked on down. Atleno secures yet another lock and confirmation, and now it all turns to Axa to bring in that survivability as they look to push further and further up in towards the zone, pulling it alongside Darkness, Triple, Desert Flame, and then of course the players there from Blackjack as well.
Oh, take your pick. Anyone can get involved. They just see a lone vehicle riding up right in between all of these teams. Taking a couple of shots. We'll have to wait and see if Axa does survive this rotation just on the edge. I think they might have made it just barely. But the rest of the teams, of course, finding themselves quite happily situated. It's Virtual Gaming and Mad Knight just on the outer reaches that are still fighting for a position into zone.
Well, there we go. Titans do fall, and now one round. Super Young Stars continue to try and apply the pressure on each other. Again, we're still waiting to see where this next zone will be taking us, and that's not going to be bothering them all too much just yet. But now, it is going to be Chico Moha holding on the one side with Eflex trying to bring in that additional coverage. But Eflex succeeds in sending a phenomenal nade across, gets that knock on towards Winky, and now the rest of the team will push right on forward. Let's see, is this going to be the opportunity for one round out to get this angle locked on through, picking up those eliminations. Zerif going to try and quickly tend to Winky there, trying to bring them back on up. It is a little bit of a position there, also being held by Messi just on the back end. But it's going to be a rain down of terror as the Super Young Stars fall left, right, and center. And it all now rides purely on Messi to survive the onslaught.
Taking a look at this now, one round, of course, making their own dash. 1 million in the meanwhile have finally found that answer to Mad Knight, and they are seemingly moving right past their situation into a potential of glory here. Super Young Stars taking a rotation of their own, trying to get into safety, but Seraph just not making that final push. Now, in the meanwhile, it's still Arrowin here for Mad Knight, dealing with the onslaught from 1 million.
Well, they were, right? Just getting eliminated as 1 million lock in yet another point. And now they look to show their dominance moving through on the southern edge of the zone. But it is going to be VST looking to put a bit of a halt to that. We got the players there from Legends of War also just on the opposite end of that crater. Let's see where this altercation will go as VST and 1 million continue to do the dance around the rocks, hoping for those more predominant angles to come in. But look at that. Lazy Boy also not getting traded on down. It is now down to only Venom and Senke. The remaining hopefuls coming through for the side here. Well, Marshall also still there for the side of 1 million. Looking to see if they can now assert that position.
Atleno moving on closer, looking for that information. It's Abood and Pivo making a rotation to get themselves better situated within the zone. As we know, this could be highly contentious as Ramsey moves on in, but straight into the crosshair of Senke, because, well, there's just quite frankly not a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, no space at all. We got Ramsey super low on that health bar as well, just trying to patch that one up. But it's going to be 1 million now, looking to just play the position even more so. Legends of War riding on the edge, quite a beautiful position they have down on towards VST and 1 million, but it's all going to come down to how they are able to capitalize on that particular position, right? Desert Flame also just up ahead, could be opening up a few opportunities here as they are situated smack dab center zone. But Darkness also now in the fray up ahead, feeling a lot of the pressure coming through. Blackjack getting eliminated alongside the players there from Triple Esports. And you can see those shots raining in from Legends of War, trying to open up a bit of a pathway before rotating forward.
Taking at this now. Legends of War. Oh, prime positioning there to Darkness, and what a cleanup. Lashin steps on in and decides that it's the end of the road for Darkness.
Wow, Lashin with one shot. That was it. Just one beautiful hit is all you need to get a full squad wipe locked in for your team. But Desert Flame still going to be looking to keep that fire burning, as they are now still slightly zone blessed. The only team, in fact, situated within the zone. VSC now feeling the pressure come through as they also experience quite a few losses. Fevo will be their final remaining hopeful. It's going to be up to Wave and 1 million on the very edge of zone to look to see who will be the team to rotate up next, and whether, in fact, anybody is going to be rotating in from this western position. But, of course, Legends of War now in a beautiful angle, right? They have a clear line of rotation right back in towards the zones. We can see Flick already starting to make that push. But Wave trying to do the due diligence, not going to be just rushing up unnecessarily.
And as we saw just for a moment there, it is one round. The current elimination leaders out in the north trying to fight their way into zone. But if it's not enough, they're already fighting Desert Flame Esports. Of course, Wave is going to get involved. Maybe even Legends of War as they move into the southern part of the zone. As you see, one round, they have made quite the explosive entry into this one singular compound. But of course, they still need to move just a hair in to zone into safety before Desert Flame will completely take control and just hold this line.
But if there was ever an opportunity for Desert Flame to secure themselves a glorious chicken, right, this could be exactly that game. But it's all going to come riding on how they perform and how they are able to lock down the zone. Meanwhile, it is going to be Venom to fall there for 1 million. Off they go down to the final 5 teams. We are Wave still trying to find a bit of a play to be made. Vivo going to be holding on for the side of VST, as you can see, just situated still up in that crater. But I'm loving the confidence coming through here from Legends of War, really asserting themselves onto that southern position and just laying waste to anything that moves up ahead.
Oh yes, absolutely. And we've seen one of these positions before for Desert Flame. Wave Esports unfortunately trying to make a quick dash into safety, but Six got just ready on the trigger.
Oh, this is going to be a beautiful play. You can see DWAS now picking up Yusuf. It all now comes down to the final contender. D3S sends out a quick bit of a nade, trying to clear up the position here. But up comes Desert Flame. It's going to be Flacco to rush on forward. D3S getting rushed by DWAS. And down they go. Wave getting sent off. Desert Flame now sitting on 8 eliminations. What a glorious run we're seeing coming from them. But of course, one round. Still in contention, not going to be backing off just yet. Instead, taking aim over at Fever there from VST, perched on high. But our final 3 teams, mainly positioned up in towards the zone. It is going to come down to those utilities and the positions being utilized.
As we know, Desert Flame, one round is their closest competitor, is their closest threat, but VST, well, Legends of War, sorry, is still lurking in and around the vicinity, still yet to find their position in zone, as Desert Flame, once again, they hold prime position in the zone, they hold the compound, they hold one of the only pieces of hard cover to really work with and you really be able to capitalize. So Eflex and Chico, they need to make a dash in. Legends of War, they need to make a dash into safety.
Well, let's see where this one goes, right? It is going to be that final showdown. Desert Flame, they've got a very controlling position coming into the zone. But of course, oh, the nades from DWAS just on point, picking up Eflex. And now Chico having to try and patch that one up. But Legends of War still holding onto that southern position. Slowly moving their way on forward. But DWAS now, they want that extra bit of security. They want to put all their focus on what is up ahead of them. Moa also still in contention. But that res has come through. It's got to be one round back on their feet once again. But look at Lashin, our dangerous Bolty right here. Let's see whether or not the sniper is going to sneak through a few more cheeky hits.
Oh, taking a look at this now. Legends of War moving on closer in. Trying to find those fantastic Bolty shots. As we saw, this was literally the reason Darkness went out. But now Chico up on the chocolate block next. It's going to be Six Guard to take them out. And Eflex holds on for dear life.
Up comes Mowing, pushing forward alongside Lashin. This could be quite the force to be reckoned with. But it's going to be Eflex now suffering to the blue zone. Moha, the final contender left for the team, just riding the storm, just perched on the very edge, inching their way back into safety. And of course, this is going to be allowing the opportunity now for Desert Flame and Legends of War to go at each other. So you can see Mowing getting traded on down. Lashin still now trying to reach across, spots Moa, and down they go. What a rise this is. Legends of War and Desert Flame now fighting it out for that winner chicken dinner. And with that, it is going straight to Desert Flame, securing their very first winner chicken dinner. The first one also then for the entire season so far. What a glorious performance.
Surprise, surprise, with 10 eliminations, Desert Flame step up to the plate. Finally, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Desert Flame and a winner chicken dinner on Murmur. This is what we needed, DK. This is what we needed.
Yes, 100% agree with you on that. I mean, we were saying it for the longest time, right? Desert Flame, they were a team that we know are quite formidable when it comes to the action over on Murmur. And now, right, they lived up to that reputation, stepped up, just claimed the zone. And I mean, but also, right, we have to give it to Legends of War. That was such an increase. I mean, I'm loving the way that they moved in. They look so confident, so comfortable moving into those later few stages. But of course, while we process everything that we just witnessed, we are going to be taking a very quick break. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll be back in a short few moments.
If only I had a weapon, I would take over the punching kit.
That's nothing. I clearly took down the enemy. If you were to keep the score, they're definitely higher than me.
If I hadn't thrown the wrong grenade, I'd be eating chicken dinner for sure. What's wrong, guys?
Arguments don't matter. Ultimate Arena decides the victor.
Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Fall 2022 season. This, of course, is our last day on the second week, and we've also just concluded our third match of the day over on Murmur, in which it resulted in a glorious winner chicken dinner coming through for the players from Desert Flame, and also a very contentious performance coming through from Legends of War. Speaking of which, let's take a look at our match rankings. And as we can see, Desert Flame and the Legends of War sitting right there on top with 25 points and 19 points respectively.
Oh, looking so good. A massive step up. And I mean, Lashin's hitting a singular shot to wipe out Darkness was all so satisfying. But of course, one round matching it up with 19, as we mentioned. VST moving on further up, as well as Wave Esports. So pretty close in contention in terms of the points they were able to pick up at the very least, and some great eliminations spread up amongst the top 6 as well. Even Triple Esports picking up 4. Darkness, of course, they picked up that 1. So there is something, if not nothing. So it is fantastic. Moving into this is of course the last Murmur of the day, so we can take a look at the second page to see, well, who didn't get quite what they wanted on the last Murmur of the day.
Well, the obvious answer is the teams we didn't see on that first page. But let's take a look and see what that second page is. It is going to be Blackjack coming in with only 3 points this time around. Super Young Stars also securing themselves those 3 points. All of those coming from the eliminations they were able to bring on through. But Slime, surprisingly, also only sitting on 2 alongside Titan Gaming, who brought in 1. And Team Lag walking away with a bag of donuts.
Yeah, feels weird. I mean, all of those teams there, it feels weird, but it is what it is. We know it was a absolutely jam-packed action of a map, of a Murmur map, so we can take a look at those upper moments. Just remind ourselves about the beautiful action, starting off with the Teak, just punching it away.
Yeah, that was quite the surprising turn of events. We got to say, Moment, right? Wow, Moment was just a beast, stepping up, bringing quite a bit of a disruption right then and there. But as we move to those later few stages, this is where I love the approach coming through from VSC, right? They got those nails locked in to Titan. But look at Eflex. just popping it off with the hits. Beautiful, beautiful shooting. But this position right here, when Desert Flame was getting rushed by Wave, I mean, I'm pretty sure that that was quite an adrenaline high that they were experiencing right at that point.
Absolutely. It was a jam-packed Murmur, and it picked up in fantastic fashion as the teams really brought that aggression, especially towards the end, where it was just constant clusters of teams trying to move on into the zone. It was absolutely phenomenal. But of course, Murmur done and dusted for the day. We at least still have another Wrangle and a Sandhawk to, finish off the day before we move into the craziness of Livik as we prepare ourselves for those top 12 teams to make their approach. We know everyone is trying to make those final dashes, those final pushes into the top 12 positions to try and be able to grace us with their presence. So far, it has been highly contentious. We've been seeing those teams really change up from day in to day out.
It's not only contentious, it's slightly contagious as well, right? And of course, we need to take a look and see what our overall ranking situation is. Was Titans now still holding on to pole position, 90 points ahead of the opposition, which is 1 million. But we are seeing that extra bit of a breakaway coming through from 1 million to leaders, right? We are having quite a bit of a gap being situated right there. I believe that's about, what, like 54 points, if I'm not mistaken. Don't judge my math, but it's somewhere in that ballpark. But again, right, we are seeing that strong effort being brought in from Blackjack as they now just peer up into 8th position, right? A slow but steady rise from Blackjack's performances so far today.
Hey, they get themselves into the top 12. Whether or not they can hold it is going to be up to that second page. As we know, they end off with, at this point in time, we still have 2 more maps. They have 124 points. How the rest of the teams are going to react to that and bring their own performances to try and close the gap is going to be up to our next 2 maps. Of course, we know it has been a massive jump up for Blackjack Esports all the way from 17th. Wasn't it? From 17th up into 8th place? That's ridiculous. Let's take a look into the second page and see how close it really is with VST sitting on 123 points.
Yeah, VST indeed on 1, 2, 3. Action, please. Of course, the players there from your Super Young Stars sitting on 115. 1 point behind them is going to be Desert Flame. And of course, 2 points behind them is Zero Tolerance and Team Lack hard on their heels. But the same can of course be said for Triple Esports, Virtual Gaming Squad, as well as Arab Golden. Still a very, very contentious position. And it doesn't stop there, right? It continues over into that final page as well. So by this point, nothing is secure. Anything from 10th place all the way to at least that position up in, I believe, 18th position could still change up quite a bit in our final 2 matches of the day. Well, the final 2 before we get into that last one. But of course, now, right, that's where you see Legends of War. They're close. They are close. Only trailing by about 20 points, right? 18 if you want to be 100% exact. And of course, Wave Esports just there keeping up the pressure and the contention.
Absolutely phenomenal work coming through here. So I still feel that it's possible. I still feel that Legends of War can make that final crazy game to just get them into the top 12, secure themselves just at the last second, and then we can sit here with our minds absolutely blown. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to turn around. But the fact that we are talking about this still being an opportunity for the teams on this side of the page, I'm still not going to stop talking about how amazing that is of improvement from week 1. As we mentioned, we ended off week 1 with the 4th page teams having about 60 to 70 points, from not really making much of a difference, but not really closing any of the gaps. And now moving into our last 2 maps of the day, and it could still change.
Yeah, super contentious lobby coming through here. But of course, we know the next map is going to be a great opportunity for the teams to really dial up that aggression and lock in a few of those eliminations, aside from the placement points up for grabs, right? Of course, I'm referring to the lovely Sandhawk, which we are going to be moving in towards next. And of course, without any further delay, let's see what that flight path is going to be bringing on through, where the teams are going to be dropping. But more importantly, where's that first initial zone going to be forming?
Oh, as we take a look at it, some sweet moves just being shown. And we do have a little bit more of that southern portion of Sandhawk really showcasing, ending up there in Lakawi, as we can see. I don't say that one ever so nicely. Just DK, just correct me. How do we say that one?
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah,
perfect
you got it this time round. Lakawi,
no.
yes.
It doesn't sound right. doesn't sound right when it comes from my mouth. But as we move on to the rest of the teams, of course, really not a crazy zone. And it's Sandhawk, so I mean, they can just drop onto the ground, get some good rotations. It is a bit south. That is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, South is healthy, right? It's going to be forcing these teams to really get that focus dialed in. And of course, there's the players from Darkness finding themselves in quite a contentious start alongside VST. We also see the players from App Golden and Pmpl Esports situated down in that Camp Charlie position. And, well, that's pretty much the hot drops that we've got to start this game off with. But let's see where it goes as Pmpl and App Golden already get down to business. Well, we'll have to wait a little while longer. Well, maybe not too long, as it is going to be App Golden. Oh, rushing straight on up. Up comes the heads, the sprays. It's Hakimo. What? Down they go. Arab Golden
Kimo.
getting control all deleted right there.
Ooh, we are only a couple of seconds into Sandhawk, and we have just seen Arab Golden absolutely de-elited from Sandhawk. Okay, no, we just give that one up. That is just some prime performance there from Kimos. But of course, the hot drops are not going to stop necessarily. We've got Darkness and we've got VST right alongside each other here towards Pine Nun, holding some very opportune moments. As you can see, Darkness holding that 2-2 split. VST trying to do something similar. They are a little bit closer in contention, so they might be able to jump in and regroup should it be necessary at the drop of a hat. Now, who's going to be starting anything here or who's going to be disengaging, that's going to be up to these teams. As we know, they're still trying to get their loot up. They're still trying to get themselves better equipped for this possible engagement.
And I mean, at this point, it's quite difficult to really figure out what the approach for Darkness could be coming into this particular game, right? Because as we know, and as we can see at the top of the screen as well, Darkness are currently sitting on 76 points in total. So that means that they are, you know, about like 30, 40 odd points away from reaching that top 12 slot. But is that going to be on the cards? Because it seems like they've been having a pretty tough run so far, right? Really finding themselves in some rather challenging positions. Not the easiest one to really just breeze on through. So, yeah, I don't know, right? This is their final opportunity, their final match. Because after this match, Darkness is done for this week.
Oh, and it is a little bit stressful to just have that rolling in the back of your mind, saying, well, lost opportunity for phase number 2. Hey, what are we going to do about this one? So they might be a little bit more hungry in that regard then to jump into engagement, or it might make them a little bit more strategic. You know, they might be like, cool, we need to focus on placements. We need to focus on just sheer location and rotation. But I have to wait and see how Darkness will react to this one, as of course, for the time being, it's a bit of a stalemate. Right, both sides, they're looking for something. They are keeping their eyes peeled on the opportunity, but when that's going to arise is up to either side.
Yeah, I mean, Darkness really being dealt a very tough hand at this point in time. But I think it's going to come down to their determination and how bad they want it, right? But the sad part is even if they have an absolutely glorious match this time around, that's it, right? The other teams still have yet another match to play, so that point situation could still change up, as we've been seeing from these teams so far today. So, if I was Darkness at this point, I would just go like, you know what? Let's just go and play the best PUBG we can, right? Let's make this one count, and maybe they can find a few additional bonus points, because we know that's what's also up for grabs today.
Well, as we know, they're alongside, of course, Legends of War, which, you know, would also be their next competitor in terms of the matches left. But looking at this now, they're really just going to have to hope for the absolute best performance. And hopefully that will be enough to get them well situated up within the rankings. As you can take a look here, Virtual Gaming, ooh, in a very blind one-shot. Extremely blind one shot, moving on in closer to leaders as they try and take at least more of a competitive angle here. Some nades being sent out. Maybe they can find Morteza.
Ooh. I mean, that was definitely a good way to get Morteza to flinch, right? But the shot's not really connecting up too favorably at this point in time. But it's got Morteza now trying to just play a little bit more of a cautious angle shadow, and so we're going to come swinging in from the back end there. But we are yet to see what Zeus is going to be doing, because Zeus is also still rotating up, actually moving in behind Shadow and Morteza and the rest of Leaders Esports.
Oh, this could be sneaky. Now Virtual Gaming making a run around pass here, trying to find the angle already. There is some damage coming on through. Morteza has to step up quickly alongside the rest of their team as they want to hold on to this carry boy just around the corner. One shot going to be taking a mountain of damage, but it is the turnaround. It is Leaders going down and saying goodbye, at least for the time being. But what a beautiful showing from Virtual Gaming, not only to be able to hold that, defend their position, and find themselves such beautiful opportunities, but just picking up some great eliminations. Sitting on 5 right now, they are rolling with it.
Yep, definitely going to be looking to roll with it. I mean, as we know, right? And as we've said before, Virtual Gaming, no strangers to bring in this absolute beast mode performances, but we are yet to see what they will have in store for us as they progress further through this match. Meanwhile, this will be Super Young Stars keeping a very steady position, close to center zone, set up right behind Darkness. The players there from VST, as well as one round, all just alongside them. So quite a bit of pressure riding on their shoulders. But again, right, they are in a position where they can actually afford to just play this one a little bit more cautiously. As we just saw at the top of the screen, the players there from the Super Young Stars are currently finding themselves up in 10th position. But it's still a very contentious spray to come through, right? We do have Team Lag, VST, all hard on their heels. So if they can find a bit of a more favorable performance here, it would definitely be the one to try and do it.
As we take a look at this now, some great opportunities still lying in wait. Darkness and VST, they're still doing the staring contest. So we'll wait in the center zone to see what's going to happen there towards Painan. 1 million, of course, one of the more straggling teams to try and find a position into zone. They are all the way up towards that northern position of Kao and Tatmok and Desert Flame. They're towards Camp Bravo, moving on in. Now, we're already seeing a few stragglers just on the edges, maybe already opting for this helo strats, you know, just trying to lock in some security in terms of placement points. I believe that's the only thing I can really think of being the cause, but it is still just for the first learn, so maybe they're just, you know, getting some good loot before they move in.
I assume you're referring to Amawin, right? All the way up in towards Hantlin. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see where Amawin looks to push this one towards. But of course, we do have a bit of a result coming through up in towards Painan. It's going to be that knockdown on towards Zuxi. But now, Darkness still keeping a steady position, right? Not going to be flinching just yet. But I am feeling somewhat worried for Darkness, seeing that we have one round and Super Young Stars moving in behind them. These rooftop positions aren't going to be too favorable for too much longer.
No, not whatsoever. We do see Amawin finally joining the party. 1 million Desert Flame, hopefully doing so quite shortly, quite soon. BST Darkness still holding the angle. Storm moving on in now from Slime4KT moving on in from Camp Alpha. But as we take a look at this angle that Desert Flame are moving in, they might just find lag as they move on closer and closer to the zone. At least that zone positioning does allow 1 million some sort of a space, some sort of an opportunity to get into the zone rather quicker than later, as it's not shifting all the way towards the south.
Yeah, I mean, there is going to be a bit of a potential to be played at here, but as we see, these rotations now starting to make their way a little bit further on forward. Not an over-aggressive amount of rotation that we have, but Darkness definitely starting to deploy themselves a little bit more effectively on towards VST, right? As we can see, VST is still pretty much focused towards that eastern side, but they've kind of figured out that there's someone on the approach, right? They know there's something cooking in the grass. But that could be Soul, that could be Mad Knight that we also see moving in from those northern positions. So there's quite a few eventualities that could be playing out right here. As we jump over towards Soul, of course, popping in a quick few shots towards the Beast as they retreat back up towards Wuskola. But again, Soul looking to get at least this section of the zone under lockdown.
Absolutely. It could be a good opportunity for them, but I'm still worried about some of those opportunities towards the western portion of this map. As you can see, Slime4KT moving in closer towards Mad Knights could mean that an opportunity for Mad Knight to pick up some Slime4KTs might be in the midst. Of course, Super Young Stars holding a fantastic high-rise position here towards Zero Tolerance, equally finding some great information. But again, that question of do we get involved? do we not? Because as we know, as soon as you start that engagement on Sandhawk, it signals fire to every single team vicinity to get some third parties going.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the difficulty of being situated in such a close quarter map, right? At the moment you start that fight, you need to be able to commit to continuing that fight, because it's not going to stop there. And now, of course, Mad Knight are going to be going at it with Soul. We do see Slime 4KT also just sneaking up behind them. And again, we do see that whole strategy that you were just pointing out now playing itself out in front of our very eyes. But Almoen, as we saw, fortunately rejoining with the rest of the team. But it's going to be a slow, steady sneak now coming through here from Slime as they are trying to find that opportune moment to pounce.
I swear I heard Elmo in, and then I thought of Elmo. But hey, I'll tell you what, Plaza's not thinking about Elmo whatsoever. He's just thinking about what eliminations he can pick up. Picked up 2 already from Mad Knight, looking at Ammo now for a little bit more, and for Kingerman still around in the area. Storm jumping up like an absolute mad lad, looking for that connection. This could be the end of Mad Knight as we see it.
Yeah, when definitely not Elmo is going to be trying to hold up the front line defensive here. Is going to adopt that DBS action. But Storm trying to meet them toe to toe with a little bit of that Pmpl, but it's going to be Plaza to come sneaking through on the edge. Vuskola also taking quite a bit of damage. And now all of the hopes turn right on towards Kingerman, the final contender here for Mad Knight. But Soul could also be venturing ever closer to this altercation.
It's those third parties, man. They are going to be jumping in. The teams are going to be jumping at the opportunity to get involved, get some good eliminations. Of course, everyone is pushing for top 12. In the meanwhile, we finally have some sort of an answer here with Darkness and VST here towards None. VST have at least invested 2 members on the other side because they thought that the grass looked a little bit greener to see if they can pick up some eliminations. And that zone moving on in should be phasing out. And we should be seeing where the focus will be.
Well, it will continue, right? The players that we've been looking at will continue for the time being. But we are seeing a few more teams now having to cover a bit of ground. We've got Triple Esports on the way. We've got a Wave as well as Lag and Desert Flame yet to push on forward. But I'm loving the confidence being shown by Darkness, right? They were able so far to uphold quite a bit of a front against the side of VST. So much so that they've taken down 2 of the players. And now they only have Zuxi and Atleno to try and move their way on up. But of course, this could still swing either which way. But I'm definitely appreciating the confidence being shown by Darkness.
They have to bring it, right? As you mentioned, this is their last map of the day. There's no more opportunities for hesitation. There's no more opportunities for holding anything back. It is phase 2. You want to get yourself into Livic. You want to get yourself as many bonus points as you possibly can because the finals are just around the corner. Well, I say that. At least we're halfway there. But looking at this now, 1 round, of course, making a nice rotation up into a higher position to try get some of that elevation, get some of those higher line of sights moving as Super Young Stars just lower here, closer towards By None, are going to be holding on to their compounds. You can see E-Flex just keeping an eye out there on the horizon, looking for any rotating teams. As we know, the zone shift is going to force a lot of those southern teams, and of course 1 team from the north in the form of 1 million, to really make a dash into the zone.
Yeah, but 1 million not too concerned just yet, right? They are making their way towards the zone. But as you said yesterday, this is no surprise to see this kind of strategy being played by 1 million because this is kind of what we were expecting to see on the team. But now Venom just bumping into a few trees along the way. You know, again, just emphasizing the fact that they are in no major rush to get themselves repositioned back into safety. Instead, they are pulling up into boot camp once again. Very similar approach to what we saw come from them just yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. Moving on through Zero Tolerance, looking for another win. Winner chicken dinner, the first one that they picked up yesterday after teasing us on a wrangle with a near win, only coming second, but then they said it wasn't enough. They wanted the full chicken dinner, but he was now making a little bit of a scouting approach, trying to get that information, has immediately decided that they no longer are interested in these compounds because they fight back for some reason. I don't know what added that to the property, but they did. So property value not looking too great here for Desert Flame as they still need to get themselves a position in zone.
Yeah, they still have to try and secure that position, but they've already found that first winner chicken dinner already today. So I'm pretty sure that they are, you know, feeling pretty good. But yes, they are not secured moving in. We are seeing a little bit of an adaptation with the rotation moving slight tad bit towards the north. Could see them actually pulling in alongside Virtual Gaming as well. But Lag still trying to make that push, trying to get themselves also then secured, moving up in towards the potential next phase. Super Young Stars, in fact, looking quite golden right here. They've got that centered zone, and wherever this next zone shifts, it's not going to be too much of a distance for them to try and get themselves secured. In fact, they don't have to move at all, as the zone now just yields itself slightly towards the north.
A little bit of a rotation coming on through. Boot camp now looking very, very good here for 1 million esports. As well, all of the players that are left have made that rotation, so they're not keeping just Senke out into the blue. They want to invest all of their players as they need to, down to 3. Virtual Gaming moving on forward, trying to take out Desert Flame as they find DWAS. This could be the opportunity they were looking for.
It could definitely be that opportunity indeed, but a very spread out approach coming through here from Virtual. They know that there's safety in that extra amount of angles that they can cover. But now Gaddafi, Zeus on the front line are going to be scouting up ahead, looking to see if they can spot out 6 and Buden. But look at the sprays now. 6, gets spotted. The shot's connecting right up in the face there. But not out of the woods just yet. Zeus going to be re-peeking that position. But the rest of the team now just inching their way further and further forward, right? We can see it's going to be Flacco holding up right on the front line with their teammate DWAS. But now how are they going to get themselves repositioned here? Trying to make a quick bit of a dash down the hill, but Virtual Gaming anticipating that and already having themselves beautifully situated. Look at one shot just raining down terror, and off they go.
Oh, goodbye, goodbye, Desert Flame. Unfortunately, not picking up the Sandhawk they were wanting. But Zero Tolerance now looking to recover their numbers as well, because they do not want to be joining Desert Flame in the lobby just yet. They want an opportunity to take this even further. Picking up 2 eliminations, definitely bolstering their numbers. Wave Esports in the meanwhile having to move into zone, but Lag forcing them to rethink their situation, down to only Rhino from Wave Esports to try and take this further.
Well, let's see. Will Rhino be their rival? Or will they be able to drive it in all the way on through? Of course, now a very, very challenging position here for Rhino, and a very difficult position to make indeed. As Lag not going to be waiting around, moving forward, securing those eliminations. But still, that blue zone now becoming quite a bit of a factor here. As we know, this is going to be that 4th phase blue, and it is quite devastating if not dealt with appropriately. But Lag, oh, they're not done. They want that final hit. They want that final point to their name.
Oh, absolutely. Why wouldn't they want it? They're going to push on forward as fast as they possibly can. Wave Esports holding a fantastic opportunity here to take this further. Darkness in the meanwhile still here towards Pine None. And unfortunately, Triple Esports have moved in to keep them company, as it's Iron. Well, just Iron, unfortunately, as Tornado goes down to Zuxi, and Adleno moving in for the cleanup.
Oh, wow. Now all the pressure turns onto Iron. As you can see, Adleno, Zuxi still surviving, trying to see if they can maybe piece something together out in that blue zone. But yes, it is going to be quite a bit of a potential threat coming through there from M7. MD is also not trying to deal with the damage being dealt by the zone itself. Iron, not really geared for a bit of a blue zone heal strat, right? Is going to be running out of those meds momentarily. And that is pretty much the situation for a lot of the players currently situated out in the blue, right? They didn't come to this blue zone prepared enough to ride it out. Instead, they need to find a way to get themselves repositioned and back into the contention.
Oh, absolutely. Super Young Stars now trying to keep their position here. VST moving on forward. Atleno once again up on the rise here to apply the pressure just around the corner. We see the DPS is popping on out from either side. Who's going to be hitting that first jump shot? It's Atleno picking up the final hit and moving on forward. Well, not into the zone.
Yeah, I mean, well, at least Atleno finding some form of success before that blue zone just stepped in and was quite nasty to them, right? But of course, we are down to our final 10 teams. It is Chico holding up alongside the rock. Up comes Storm. Oh, beautiful sprays. Storm falls. Pronto could be the next victim. No, it instead is Chico. Eflex now on the defensive here alongside Moha. I can see maybe they can find a bit of a play. The DBS coming out once again. Let's see where this one will go. It is going to be Moha to find beautiful knocks. And now 1 player left from the side of Slimefolk AT. Storm also falls. Pronto in a world of trouble. But 1 round feeling quite a bit of pressure coming through as 1 million comes rushing in right behind them.
Boom, 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 boom. That's all we're going to be seeing. One round sent back into the lobby while Pronto steps on up as the last remaining hopeful here from Slime 4
Oh.
KT. They need to pick up some eliminations. They would do so fantastically in the form of Soul Esports. Pronto, sliver of HP, not making it into zone.
Talk about signing off, right? That is exactly what Pronto did there. It's like, well, I might as well, while I'm at it, maybe just pick up a few more. Just take aim at Soul. But this is going to be Super Young Stars' position to lock down. The only team currently being majorly situated within the zone. We do see the players there from Virtual Gaming on the approach. But this is Super Young Stars up against 1 million and Virtual Gaming. I mean, you want to talk about a tough position? This is pretty much that. Of course, Lazy Boy, Venom, up on the elevation there. Virtual Gaming also pretty elevated. And now, Super Young Stars, they've got the only compound within the zone.
Oh, moving on forward. Zero tolerance, of course. I mean, Super Young Stars, of course, holding a fantastic opportunity here. 1 million in Virtual Gaming, on the other hand, they have to fight shoulder to shoulder for this position within zone. This could be a fantastic opportunity for Super Young Stars. I feel like we haven't seen them in contention for a winner chicken dinner in so long. But same can be said for Virtual Gaming. And hey, 1 million, they're still looking to close the gap.
Oh, there we go. It's going to be Venom to fall. Now, 1 million down to only 2. It's Lazy Boy out in the zone. And Senke held up in boot camp, bringing in a bit of that heal strat. But Lazy Boy, pretty low on that health bar. One shot could mean the end, at least for Lazy Boy. Zeus now spots out something potentially over on towards that western side, rather. But let's see where this is going to be going. Super Young Stars looking pretty good here still, holding on to the compounds. 3 players up against the 4 coming through from Virtual. But at this point, I would pretty much leave it to Virtual to find the final contenders left there for the side of 1 million.
Oh, absolutely. One shot in the meanwhile is cooking up some beautiful nades. Same can be said here for Winky, of course. So the send out is going to be on either side, but the connection is going to be in the form of Virtual Gaming. Now they move on in. They want the compound.
Well, let's see where this will be going. It's going to be that rush. Oh, it's going to be Winky to fall. Zeref, Messi. Now having to keep up the defensive, but up comes the sprays. Lazy Boy taking down Gaddafi. Whoa, the utilities are going to be raiding through once again. Virtual Gaming already on 11 eliminations. Super Young Stars sitting on 2, but they now really have to work their butts off to ensure that they've got this zone under lockdown. And of course, there we have it, right? It is going to be 1 million down to 1. Senke out in the blue zone trying to do that heal strat, but all the pressure now riding on Messi and Zeref. As Virtual Gaming get ready for their next assault. Gaddafi quickly patching up that health bar. Let's see where this will go. Winky also now trying to sneak through for a bit of a res, but not quite sure if it's going to be on the books.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, you have to be so quick with this. In the meanwhile, Virtual Gaming, they got all the time in the world because they've got all the numbers in the world. A full squad remaining, and now they are just boosting up for this final dash into the danger town. The smoke's going to be deployed, and this might be the opportunity for Virtual Gaming to jump on in.
Well, let's see. Let's see who's it going to be. Virtual Gaming looking like some pretty strong contenders. 11 eliminations to their name. 4 players up. They could have this one in the bag. But now, zero tolerance. Still just not going to be letting them find a great approach. But being hunkered in the building means 1 nade could end it. Fortunately, Super Young Stars, they've learned their lesson. They are not in the building. Instead, they find themselves situated on the outskirts. Up comes the rush. It is going to be Winky to get traded on down as Virtual Gaming now starts their rush, moving straight on forward. Oh, Messi on the front line alongside Zeref. Looking to see if they can maybe mount a bit of an assault here. Gaddafi trying to find that opportunity, but yet another player falls. Up comes the push. Winky goes down. Oh, it's one shot to get taken up as well. The hits continue to fly through. And with that, Virtual Gaming secure themselves an absolutely amazing victory. 14 eliminations strong alongside the glorious winner chicken dinner.
Hey DK, you were asking for it. You were asking for a Virtual Gaming win. One we haven't seen in a while, but finally our former spring winners have jumped on in and showcased what they have to offer. Of course, just absolutely beautiful plays coming through from Virtual Gaming. And we'll have to wait and see how the overall rankings are going to shift up with that one, because they were so close to picking up that perfect 30-pointer game.
I mean, I can't let this one go. Virtual Gaming springing back into action. That is exactly what they did right then and there. I mean, come on, you set it up. I just got to take it. I cannot resist. You know, I have to drop a lame one every now and again, but a really, really phenomenal effort being brought in. And I mean, it's great to see Virtual Gaming just showing once again, right, why they are a formidable force and team not to really discount at this point in time. I think it's a bit of a strategy, right, that they are bringing in. They don't want to play as aggressively just yet. They are slowly starting to build up the tension, starting to build up that expectation. And once they know that they are pretty much secured to move forward, I think that is where they're going to go, you know, just unleash the full potential of their performances.
That would be the hope, but absolutely a beautiful start for Virtual Gaming. And on Sandhawk, nonetheless, we know it is an incredibly difficult map to manage because the third parties just keep rolling on in. So the ability for them to actually just make sure that they secure the chicken dinner is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Of course, speaking about phenomenal, we have to give a big shout out going out to Oppo. So, Born to Win, welcome to the exciting match brought to you by Oppo. Get your gamer mode on with the much-loved Reno 7 series. You can see those beautiful phones right there between myself and Ez. And of course, speaking about beautiful phones, beautiful things, we need to give a big shout out to Monster Energy as well, our official energy drink partner right here for the PUBG Mobile Pro Leagues. Now, back to the discussion, Ez, right? We saw that rise coming through. Virtual Gaming replicating the efforts bring in quite a formidable performance. But we also did see quite a few other teams keeping the pressure really high. I mean, Super Young Stars, yes, not having the crazy amount of eliminations alongside that, but they were still able to finish really respectively with regards to those placement points.
Yeah, I mean, moving on into that last final zone, being able to find themselves in the top 2 finisher. And again, it was something we haven't seen for so long, but we can take a look at the match rankings just for someone else to do the math so that my brain does not have to. Of course, Virtual Gaming running away with 29 points. Super Young Stars picking up 14 alongside Team Lag with some fantastic eliminations. Of course, Slime for KT and 1 million making a splash on in 4th and 5th place respectively. Once again, thanks to some crazy eliminations from Slime 4KT. And as we know, that sign-off was just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, if not, why not, right? If you have the opportunity, why not just take aim at another team on the side and maybe just pick up 3 eliminations? You know, why not? It's a great effort to be seeing teams really achieving these crazy, crazy heights. But of course, speaking about crazy heights, we need to take a look at that second page as well to see where the other teams find themselves. VST still bringing in a very valiant effort, right? Securing themselves the 5 points with the 4 eliminations they found.
Not bad whatsoever. Of course, you would think that they were going to be bringing in a little bit more, but they really had such a stare down there with Darkness, and Darkness obviously were looking for those eliminations. So the turnaround there from VST is fantastic to be able to really add on to their tally. And VST, well, Darkness rather, they've added 4, you know, as their last match of the day. So hopefully that will be enough for something to change on the overall rankings, but if not, they will have to come back in the next phase to really make it work. And of course, they have that entire break. They have those 8 days where they can do the VOD reviews, they can take the break that they need to, have the discussions, and come back even stronger to pick up bonus points for the finals.
Yeah, definitely on the cards, right? And it's going to be quite exciting to see how the teams will be coming back and what we could be expecting from them moving into that 3rd week. But of course, as we know, right, we are getting closer and closer to the end of the day. The next match is going to be over on towards Erangel to see where the teams will find themselves after the 20 matches for this week have then been concluded. So quite a bit of a point to be reaching, right? As we know, it's still pretty contentive over on that overall standings to see which teams will be locking in those top 12 places, and we will be taking a look at that pretty soon. But of course, Sanok on fire, Murmur, both of them absolutely crazy. But what are you at least expecting moving into our final Erangel of the day?
Well, I am expecting a little bit of that action coming through from teams like Myth, 1 million, 1 round. We can take a look at the highlights while we try and break this down. Because so far, they've been the most consistent coming through with the Erangel. Of course, we had Triple Esports stepping up like absolute mad lads right off the bat. So who knows, maybe they might make a final return and pick up another winner chicken dinner in this phase as well.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise really to see that come in. But again, right, we did see some very contentious performances coming through. I mean, Slime, that's the play that we talked about from Pronto, just reaching down into Soul Esports, ripping out their souls, right?
Ooh.
Because it works with the name. Not really true, but sure. Let's go with that. It works. It works for the segue section. Not really sure what the segue is there, but whatever. A really phenomenal performance coming through. But again, right, we need to now see all of the efforts that the teams have been bringing through in the previous matches result in an absolutely glorious push into that final E-Wrangle. And while we get ready for that, we are going to be moving into a very quick break. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll be back with you after a short few moments.
Stalemate? No problem. Ultimate Arena decides the victor.
Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Fall 2022 season. We're getting ready for our final match. Well, the final large map, right, of this week. After which, we're going to be moving up in towards Livik. So it's going to be that final showdown, that final opportunity for the teams to secure themselves the points to see who will be our 12 teams venturing over in towards Livik for a little bit of that super close quarter mix-up. A little bit of that monster truck madness as well, right? So it's going to be quite an exciting game. But first, we need to jump over any wrangle to see what the flight path, the zone, and the teams have in store for us. Now, is final prediction moving in? Where's the flight path going to be going?
Yeah, I thought you were asking me to predict teams. I'm gonna say Primorsk. Whether that's coming from Primorsk or going to Primorsk, I don't know.
Okay, so that's
Maybe?
it. That is just the one, just like Madonna, just Primorsk. That's it. Boom.
yes.
We only won.
Boom.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an interesting prediction, right? Not quite sure what that will entail.
I want Southwest. I want a little bit of chaos. I want the water involved, you know.
Regardless of how we get it, that's just what you want. Southwest, be it
Exactly.
zone, be it flight path, be it someone in a boat with that lovely
Yes.
propeller at the back.
Mm.
All right. Okay, cool. But, I mean, there's going to be an opportunity, though, for the teams to bring in that push, right? And speaking about push, let's jump in the game and see what they have to work with regards to flight path, zone, and everything else in between. Of course, we'll also get a bit of an update as to what the overall rankings are. They'll be up at the top of the screen and potentially on the left-hand side as we are going to be venturing towards that map momentarily. But for the time being, we can see it is coming in from the western edge and, of course, heading straight down in towards the Nova Crate.
I saw Promosk. It was in the view line, at least towards the west. So I'm close. I'm close. But yeah,
Ooh.
at least as we can see now, for some of the teams, they have great opportunities if they do generally fancy themselves here towards the southern portion of Erangel. Whether or not that's going to be really the case for some of the teams who obviously we know that love that just, you know, that more northern approach, well, they might have to look for those alternative drop sites. But I mean, at this point in time, a little bit of the southern drop, that's always going to be a bit fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be quite fun, but what's not going to be fun, right, is the points that we were looking at just then. Well, at least that I was looking at over on the left-hand side of the screen. I mean, it's still pretty undecided between 8th and 16th place. Anything can change moving into this final game. Any of these teams can still step up and just absolutely shake up these final few performances, right? So, Arab Gold and Triple Esports, Desert Flame, Zero Tolerance, Blackjack, Team Lag, VSC Gaming, players there from Super Young Stars, and Seoul Esports, all having an absolutely phenomenal opportunity to get those top 12 slots secured. But looking at what they've got to work with, it is going to be quite a bit of a challenge, right? That lovely northeastern zone, almost just only eastern, but it's definitely not complementary to the flight path.
No whatsoever. We had a lovely western approach for these flights, but unfortunately the teams are going to have to make quite a lot of traveling up to that northern section. Already a little bit of a fun time there with Leaders Esports losing a member closer towards schools, so Wave Esports potentially or Team Myth rather, actually picking up that one, so great opportunity for them. As we take a look, of course, you can see Wave Esports also close in proximity to Leaders, so they might be on the shopping block next, depending on how they take these rotations.
Yeah, shopping block, chopping block, whichever block you want to put them on, that's where they could be right then and there. But yes, Leaders not having the most favorable start to their day, or their final match rather, let's put it that way, call it what it is. But Shadow, we're now going to come in for a quick evac right here, looking to pick up the rest of the team and maybe looking to rotate themselves much further towards that eastern side, because that's something that is, you know, quite plentiful. Positions over on towards the eastern side of the zone.
I mean, if you take a look at it, right, we have so many teams now trying to force their way into the zone quite earlier rather than later, so they're completely let going of those drop locations just to be able to center themselves within a prime location moving into the next phase. So some of the teams outside of their comfort zone moving into this next phase immediately, so potentially jumping into those alternative drop sites, or at least driving to them now. But it will be interesting because they have an opportunity to set themselves up very, very soon into the next phase.
Yeah, I mean, rather be early than late. It's better to have that position and not having to worry about it all too much. But Chemo showing us how to do a 21-point turn. Thank you so much. We haven't seen that in quite a minute. So, yeah, that's why they are at the hospital, picking up the rest of the team before rolling further on forward. But again, quite a few opportunities could lie ahead for Team Triple Esports and the rest of the lobby, as we are seeing that slight migration heading towards the eastern side. But of course, the Super Young Stars, they are going to be pushing right back to their home turf, all the way up in towards Savoni, completely and utterly uncontested. But I'm curious to see how this congestion towards the western side is going to develop, right? Because we got Legends of War, we got the players from Mad Knight, we got Triple, we got 1 Million, we got Wave, Desert Flame, VST, pick a number, pick a name. They're probably going to be on that western side, having to try and secure themselves a decent position moving through. But again, the teams that are already situated within the zone, close to the western side, could actually be in quite a favorable lineup here for finding a few of those, rotational spray downs.
Oh, definitely the opportunities are here, but as we can see, a few teams, they haven't stopped up anything whatsoever. So Esports here still towards the military base island, and of course they are joined by Arab Golden, so no real changes here. But of course, DK, as we know, moving into this map, it is the final opportunity for teams to actually garner some of those points. And, you know, taking a look at the overall standings, as we've mentioned, in terms of opportunities, in terms of the teams that really need to push it in these final moments. Again, I'm still holding a candle for Mad Knight. I will not stop holding a candle for Mad Knight whatsoever, as well as Wave Esports, who find themselves on that last page alongside Legends of War. But some of the other teams who are just on the cusp of getting into that top 12 placement and being able to pick up some more points would be a team like Zero Tolerance, a team that we know has started to pick up their first winner chicken dinner, so why can't they make it happen here?
Well, nothing is stopping them, right? It's all just going to come down to that determination and whether or not the RNG is going to be working out in their favor, because that seems to be quite the decisive factor right there. It's right how these teams are able to cope with whatever the RNG throws at them. But as we look about, you can see there's the players here from Blackjack. They are, of course, also then moving into the usual kind of setup, up in towards that mansion territory. And they do feel somewhat comfortable right here, right? Because they are then allowed to go about their business, get themselves a little bit more favorable, and then start to bring that extra additional focus in once the next zone has been decided.
Well, the pressure is on Blackjack as well, as they are currently the guardians of that top 12 placement. So if anyone is looking to just break into that top 12 placement and they're just moments away, or maybe even 4 points away, such as Zero Tolerance, Blackjack Esport is going to be the target for them, and they should be keeping a keen eye on their performance. Of course, Legends of War, they've moved into a very comfortable position here, just on the outskirts of Quarry, moving into the zone, of course, just behind VST, who are making a straight dash into that one, just behind Myth as well. So those very aggressive angles are going to be coming in, as Triple Esports, Mad Knight, Arab Golden, Soul Esports still need to position themselves in zone.
Yeah, but it is a little bit of a... Just to get back to what you were saying about Blackjack, right? It is a little bit of deja vu, because we know last week they were also the gatekeepers of the top 12. So this time it is quite a bit more contentious. So it's not going to be such an easy task to accomplish. And it could be that opportunity, as you rightly so said, for Zero Tolerance, to bring in that extra bit of a push, right? For all the teams just behind them to apply that extra additional bit of pressure to see whether or not they could maybe just shake things up and get themselves situated.
That would be the hope. And again, like, I'm happy for either teams to switch it up. I mean, hey, maybe Blackjack moves on forward and they take out Team Lag, who's only 1 point ahead of them. Or they take even further. They take out VSC, who's only 4 points ahead of them. There's a massive amount of opportunities for the teams who are playing their last match now. Massive points. I mean, if we take a look at the top 12, and I'm going to do this as quickly as I possibly can, there's only 3 teams that have played all of their matches, and that's Virtual Gaming, Slime4KT, and 1 round. The rest, they are playing in this match right now.
Yeah, you want to talk about tough, right? That is exactly what they are going to be having to deal with here. But of course, also then, the players here from Seoul are going to be running into a little bit of an obstruction. As we can see, everything coming down to what Rauf and co are going to be able to secure moving through. As the Titans have just laid waste to a few of them. The Reds is coming through off of the distance there between Hemo and Omar. But that is going to be the end of the road for YC, and Rauf now getting the knock coming through into them as well.
Oh, confirmations. But of course, Soul Esports now down to 2 members, having to make those rotations into zone, trying to get themselves situated. And again, it's always this exact altercation that we stress about for Soul Esports. Taking that Eastern Bridge approach, we know on the west it's VST normally. On the east, it's always Titans holding that Milta area, holding that bridge location. So unfortunately, Soul Esports this time, they did fall, sadly, to that little bit of a bridge camping or opportunity for Titan Esports. But hey, at least 2 of them make it into the zone.
Yeah, they're still alive. They are still in it to win it. Let's see where they're going to be going as the teams now start to progress further and further up in towards the zone itself. Slime4KT not playing this time around, so that means that Yasnaya is entirely open for the taking. As we can see the players there from Blackjack taking that plunge, looking to get themselves situated. Of course, Desert Flame adopting a very similar approach alongside the players here from Myth. But let's see, this could be that altercation, that exchange between both of them, as Broly now takes aim down on towards Buden.
Ooh, but Buden is going to be making a dash alongside the rest of Desert Flame, hopefully into safety, I would hope, because they are within center zone, so they have a little bit of time to readjust their positioning. They are just very clustered within this position. As we can see, Blackjack now picking apart Super Young Stars. Messi should be going down with that confirmation quite swiftly, because the rest of Super Young Stars, well, DK, I don't think they can go for the res.
No, it's going to be quite challenging, right? It's going to be super challenging. They won't get the res at all today, but they could maybe get a bit of a vengeance, right? Back a bit of that revenge play back on towards Blackjack. It's going to take, of course, quite a bit of focus and luck to work out, but as we have it, as fate has it, we see the players from Lag also now joining up in towards the lovely Yasnaya Polyana, with quite a few other teams on the approach. And this is where things could take a beautiful swing to the spicy side of life, with Seoul Esports also then moving in. We see Omar and Hemo pulling in over on that eastern edge.
Oh, taking a look at this now. Lag, of course, an opportunity for them to take this further. As we know, it's a 2-on-4, right? I mean, surely Seoul can't do this one, at least not on paper. But we have seen some crazier things in the past. Of course, Seoul Esports just lying low, getting their consumables up to a respectable level. Let's take a look at the rest of the zone. Triple Esports, Arab Golden, Mad Knights, and 1 million, or at least half of 1 million, still to join the zone. In the meantime, VST, making a dash in here.
But if you say half of 1 million is then just 500,000.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
And that
Right.
500,000 is Senke and the like.
Yes, that's the level of effort that they are going to be putting in this match.
Oh, yes.
But yes, VST now looking to get themselves a little bit better established alongside the players here from Leaders Esports. But again, right, Shadow and Wasted just going to be keeping a steady position. Not going to be letting themselves get exposed unnecessarily. But up comes It's a Boot, and this is going to be that opportunity for them now to try and face down and defend their compound.
Oh, jumping on into this one. Shadow and just picking apart piece by piece. At least doing some good damage. But Zuxi having a prime position alongside It's a Boot here in this building. And now Carryboy moves on in, finds Zuxi. Now has to look for the second.
Well, let's see. Could there be even more up for grabs? There's going to be It's a Boot cooking up the nade. Not having a clear line of sight just yet. But Leaders Esports now sticking to those high positions. Of course, Carryboy feeling that nade come through. Sends out one in response. But unfortunately, Fivo's on the opposite end of the wall, and none of that damage is going to succeed in finding Fivo. But a quick another attempt comes through, as we can see the nades continue to rain on down, and it is now turned into a bit of a ranged assault, right? Leaders and players here from VST just having a continual back and forth exchange. But at one point, they are going to start running out of those utilities, and of course, Wave are going to start moving ever closer.
Oh, absolutely no opportunity left waiting. So, Wave Esports, they will take anything and everything that comes their way. Now moving on closer and closer, taking a wonderful opportunity and position just behind Leaders Esports. So they might have the perfect line of sight to try and sniff them out of this location. But of course, the same level of pressure can be applied here to VST. And currently, with the numbers they both hold up against the numbers of Wave Esports, it is going to be a battle for, well, survivability at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, aside from that, the timer is, of course, running out, right? That blue zone is going to start closing up now as well. So Wave, VST, and Leaders either need to push through this engagement or they need to disengage and get themselves repositioned back into the safety of the next zone. But it's going to be a pretty crazy play because, as you can see, there's quite a bit of congestion starting to form up in towards Yasnaya. Let's see. Maybe Shadowin could find the necessary damage on towards D3S. Ooh, finds somewhat, but not enough to really commit to anything at this point. This is going to be the cue, though, for VST to just get themselves the heck out of dodge as they now instead push back towards the zone and leaving Wave and Leaders Esports to continue the altercation.
We also have Super Young Stars and Zero Tolerance now picking up a massive altercation there within Yasnaya Polyana. As we know, Zero Tolerance, they're pushing for those 4 points. They're pushing for even more as they don't want Blackjack Esports running away from them just yet. So already picking up 2 and now looking for even more as Super Young Stars try and take the disengagement because obviously they don't want to give anything up just yet. But Lag and Desert Flame, right up close and personal.
Yeah, as we can see, Blackjack, Team Lag, right? Both teams sitting on 125 a pop, and that's going to be quite a bit of pressure to come through on them. So you can see that live updated scores happening at the top of the screen. But look at the nades, though. It's going to be Lag to get 1-9 actually now knocked. It's going to be up to Kakao. They get to see if they can keep the contention strong. A9Q also going to be looking to move on through as well. But Desert Flame, they seem to have this building under lockdown as 1-9 also then falls. And A9Q needs to piece this whole play back together. Desert Flame in hot pursuit are going to come rushing on forward. They want that final contender. They want that final player standing between them and even more glory. But will they be able to find them, though?
That is going to be the question as we move on. In lag, of course, under the pressure cooker here, trying to ensure that they can pick up their numbers, get those reses moving on in before Desert Flame or even anyone else in this vicinity steps on in to try and take it away from them. Desert Flame, of course, scrambling. They're looking for those altercations. They're looking for those eliminations. They need points. They need those confirmations to come on through.
And I think I'm sweeping this building floor by floor, coming to the realization that Lag instead has moved elsewhere, but now instead they jump in front of Myth and Broly jumping at the opportunity. Farouk also has a bit of an angle on towards Fantasy there, but up comes Arab Golden, also now looking to crash the party. Ban gonna go flying around on the outskirts, looking for a bit of a position to pull in towards. We've got VST on the approach, the same as Wave and the players there from Legends of War. Leaders also making a bit of a dash, that mad dash. But look at 1 million. They've got a very comfortable position up towards the north.
Oh, no, holding something at least into this next phase can mean the world of difference. As you can see, Desert Flame, of course, picking up some great eliminations, but it is not over just yet. They're still in contention for these buildings. It's Arab Golden, it is Lag, it is Myth. You can take a number. Everyone is sitting in line. Zero Tolerance in the meanwhile. They just got blown up by Myth. What's happening?
Oh, Zero Tolerance riding on 122. Still 3 more points to go to be on par. 4 points if they want to try and potentially get ahead. But let's see. Arab Golden also trying to get this position under lockdown. Not going to be moving up just yet, but it is very, very close. The altercations now getting pretty tough. As we can see, a mass convergence of teams, right? All 16 teams, aside from 1 million, now pretty much being situated in and around Yasnaya Poliana. Now, if you ever wanted an absolutely brutal match to come through, this is exactly that. It's going to be Leaders Esports, our first team to get sent back to the lobby. Super Young Stars up ahead, Arab Golden, then also start to fall. And this is where we are going to be keeping a very close eye on our rankings at the top of the screen, because that will continuously keep on changing.
Yeah, it's not going to stop anytime soon. All of the teams vying for the opportunity in this last big map of phase 2 to pick up as many bonus points as they possibly can, and potentially even an opportunity towards Livik. Of course, now Myth making a little bit of a dash, but hey, turning our attention here to 1 million and Titans, who seem to constantly find each other. It's Marshall taking hit after hit as they try and rotate on through.
Oh, but this we want to see, right? The two big chiefs going toe to toe. None other than Titan and 1 million fighting for control of these northern territories. Already AXA having that anchor point set up a little bit further up ahead. But now comes to play. Blue Zone is going to be catching up to them. T going to get spotted out in the open. Lazy Boy trying to take a bit of a swing, but up comes P6. Trying to keep up that aggression. Not letting them capitalize on these rotations. Let's see, will that work out in their favor? Oh, come on. P6 waiting for that opportunity. Team Lag is the next one to fall. They get sent away with not a single elimination to their name, but up comes the pushes now. It's 1 million. Continue to push further and further afield. Titan holding up that defensive line, but Marshall, Senke, the rest of the squad managing to quickly and sneakily escape, moving in.
Blackjack Esports, of course, they're also holding a fantastic position, as we can see, moving on through 1 million now. Just alongside Mad Knight, and Mad Knight just alongside Blackjack Esports, so it's all connected here, moving into these final phases, and it is centering up around Triple Esports, VST, and Zero Tolerance holding the trio of buildings into this potential final phase.
But that rotation that we saw come through from 1 million just now, I mean, that was such a beautiful goal to make, because they got there ahead of that blue zone shift, and now Titan Gaming having to cross that treacherous ground, right? And there's going to be so much focus being put on them as they start to descend back down into Yasnaya Poliana. Meanwhile, the action will continue as we can see Mad Knight and Blackjack going at each other. It is the Beast position up ahead. Zane cooking up the nade, trying to reach in. Oh, sends it out. Will that be the one? Will it find the damage? No, the Beast putting quite a bit of distance in between themselves, and the onslaught coming through here from Zane.
Oh, taking a look at this now. Beast just narrowly escaping the fires, the flames, the nades, you can name it right now, just hoping for that survivability. But of course we know Titans making their approach just behind 1 million, and they're literally taking on 1 million's position.
Wow. Wow, up they come. There's going to be Teak and Puncher. Puncher, of course, getting confirmed. Down goes Teak. And now Marshall and Lazy Boy looking to reign supreme, but B6 comes rushing on forward and just letting it rip, hitting shot after shot. Absolutely phenomenal positioning being played out here. But look at this. Marshall, not a player to be discounted at any point in time. B6, the final hopeful, left for Titan. Could this be on the card? Of course, the entirety, 1 million still in this game. Marshall, Senke, now quickly trying to patch their players back up. But up comes the push. Ooh, B6 having an absolute monster of a weapon. And that could be the deciding factor between whether or not B6 survive this altercation or whether or not 1 million succeeds in taking them down. Yet another knock now coming through, but the nade! You cannot stop the nades. And that is all that is needed to end it right there. Titans get sent off with 3 points to their name. Also, then, we can see the players there from Wave falling with 1 elimination to their name. But here we have it, right? The final 10 teams now left to duke it out.
Senke just breaking that 600 damage marker and then has to top it off with a nade. Beautiful work from 1 million. And of course, they still have an opportunity to take all 4 of the members into the next phase, into the final. But as you can see, Mad Knight holding a keen eye on this position. They just saw so much happening, so much action just occurring just alongside them. So they're keeping as many eyes as possible on their neighbors. Of course, we take a look at Blackjack Esports, but meanwhile, Venom just narrowly just dodging the bullets like it's the Matrix and keeping alive.
Yeah, Wiskola really trying to keep the pressure up, right? Trying to capitalize on the opportunity here. Oh, finds a beautiful spray though. Look at that. It is going to be the knock coming through, but not from Triple. Wiskola instead trying to continue the efforts here. It's so unfortunate that that knock came through at the hand of Triple Esports and not for Mad Knight. But I mean, Chemo's in such a formidable position here, looking to try and find that trade onto his Lazy. Fortunately, it's not going to be happening just yet. Senke now moving up, trying to patch that position. But down they go as Kingerman now finds the hit. And that's going to be a play for Mad Knight.
Oh, Lazy Boy bleeding on out. And you can see Wiskola still looking for the confirmation. There it is. At least the helping hand here from Kingerman. Mad Knight picking up elimination after elimination. And 1 million, of course, unfortunately being the victims to this exact onslaught. But Triple Esports, of course, might be the next target, might be the next factor for 1 million to consider. As we take a look at this, of course, Triple Esports, they still hold such a good position in the zone. And they have all of this information on 1 million.
Yeah, I mean, but you might have all the information in the world. You still need to utilize that to your advantage. And this is where it's all going to come into play now, right? Blackjack trying to move in. We've got them situated towards that southern side alongside Desert Flame and VST. So a super contentious position to play on through. Myth also trying to find a bit of that anchor point to set up. But now VST trying to get themselves secured. Moving through the compounds, trying to look at all these different angles. But it's going to be Legends of War to find that head onto its Desert Flame. Oh! Atlano is going to get greeted there as Chrono sends it through. Look at Flacco stepping up, picking up such a phenomenal trade. Will they be able, though, to find that final bit of closure down onto the remainder of the players from Myth?
And of course, still keeping my eye out on Zero Tolerance and Blackjack Esports. We know they are fighting for that 12th position, the top 12 elimination, as Blackjack Esports now have 5. But as we look at this, VST moving on in from the southern position, Blackjack Esports finding Desert Flame, and it is all going to the town here for Desert Flame. They need to hold the line.
Oh, loving the approach coming through from Desert Flame, doing the due diligence all over the place. But now Buden, Flacco, everybody getting ready for a bit of a rush. Well, aside from Flacco, because they've been knocked on down. Down goes Buden as well now. What hit after hit coming in such close succession. Atlano still in a position where they can bring quite a bit of devastation. It's all, of course, now riding on the hope that 6 God can find that angle. DBS going to come through alongside the S12K here. Let's see, could Fivo be the one to close it up? Oh, Myth, they get taken down. The numbers keep on changing at the top of that screen. But now, look at this, right? Desert Flame down to 1. VST patching it up. 6 God keeping their ears open, but not finding any necessary information just yet.
No, not at all. Everyone is just trying to get their numbers back up. Those reses need to pop on through before we move on in. The Beast now finally getting a confirmation. Well, at least a nade to the face. Unfortunately, they've been ducking and weaving all this time, but now it is their opportunity. We'll see if the rest of Mad Knight can get those reses to move on through, but we can just see they're taking so much damage. In the meanwhile, Six God just trying to lay low and stay alive. Triple Esports still holding great positioning. And now the zone centering up on this palisade in between all of the other buildings, right in the open.
Oh, but it's going to be that reign of terror, right, to come through here from Blackjack. They are leading the pack with elimination, sitting on 6 now. They just lock in even more, as you can see Zane picking up the final player there for Mad Knight. Wiskola getting sent away. It's going to be VST and Desert Flame to fight out. Because see Six God now just dancing around that block, picking up the trade on towards Atleno. But Fivo not out of contention just yet. It's going to quickly try and patch themselves up. But as we know, all the shooting, all the noise draws in even more attention. Fivo patiently waiting, trying to bring in a little bit of that third-party peek. But it's not going to work out favorably just yet. Up comes 6 now, looking to sneak their way back into position here. It is going to be Chrono now to find Marshall as well. You can hear that S12K right behind 6. So I'm pretty sure that they are just hoping and praying that they can stay well ahead of Fivo's push.
The runaround comes on through. Six God not wanting to go down at any moment. They still want to hold on. We've got 8 teams left. We've got such an amount of action. 7 zones in, and these teams need to hold their line. No one wants to go down just yet. Zero Tolerance now trying to take a piece here of Blackjack Esports, which they need to do. They need to take them out if they want to be able to take their position. So the shots will rain on through, but no connections to speak of. And our 1 million in the form of Marshall is going to be sending out nades.
Oh, but it is still very contentious, right? The fight for top 12 is still alive. Marshall now going to be looking to see what they can accomplish alongside Venom, holding over on towards that western side, but it's going to be Desert Flame to get taken on down. Off they go. Still 7 teams left to duke it out. Blackjack, meanwhile, they've moved up into 10th place, but look at that. A beautiful, beautiful nade being sent through from Zero Tolerance as they find the entirety of Legends of War.
I'm literally just staring at these top rankings. Zero Tolerance picking up those eliminations is going to be massive. But hey, Blackjack has been picking up kills. Everyone here that's in contention for the top 12 has been picking up some points. And now Marshall finding MG could be the reign of terror that Blackjack were not looking for. Thankfully, Zane is still in this one. But for how much longer is the question?
Well, it is going to be Triple Esports, though, to come through with the response on what we just saw happening there. But look at that. Zero Tolerance currently up in 12th position with 126 points. Still in this. Triple Esports, meanwhile, holding on to 50s, but it's going to be Blackjack to get stopped right there in their tracks. Now, the final 5 teams left to fight it out. It is Soul Esports, Zero Tolerance, VST, 1 million, and of course, Triple Esports. But Triple, as we can see, as they are still rocking that full squad. So they could maybe potentially still bring in a very contentious push. You can see M7 now finding Hemo.
Oh, Triple Esports looking for so much more. They want to up their position. They want to take it even further. As you see, Kimo's now trying to reposition, getting a little bit of loot there from the care packages. Vivo just tries and holds on to something, but it doesn't work out for them.
Oh, but come on. It's not the end just yet, right? Triple Esports looking for the opportunity. Finds Vortex. Paradox is next. Will they be able to secure the spray, though? It's going to be that final push as they look to step it on up. It is going to be a beautiful play as Triple Esports step up and claim themselves a winner chicken dinner. 5 eliminations to their name.
Okay. Unfortunately, I can't do math that quickly, so I don't know where that leaves them. On the overall rankings, we will have to wait and see and be surprised. But what a beautiful performance from Triple Esports. I mentioned they were fantastic last week on Erangel, specifically picking up those winner chicken dinners. But I'm so surprised but delighted to see Triple Esports picking up the win here. And I feel like those extra 15 points could have made the difference. I'm not sure, but I'm on the edge of my seats waiting for those top 12s.
Well, we'll have the answer once we take a look at the overall rankings a little bit later on. But as we saw, right, it was such a challenging performance. And all the teams within that top 12 positioning, right? The teams just on the edge of it and the teams trying to gain that entry, really stepping up their performances, bring in some crazy, crazy plays. And that, of course, resulted in an absolutely glorious Erangel to just showcase on the very last bit of this day. So what a crazy way to close off our 5 matches section for the day. The large matches have, of course, now been concluded, and now we're going to be waiting to see what the results are, where the teams find themselves, and who will be our top 12 teams to move over in towards Livik.
I am telling you, I am still trying to just do some math in my head. I think they were sitting on 15th position. I think they were about 17 points. I'm not sure, but as soon as I see those overall rankings, I feel like we might be seeing a whole different story. But let's take a look at the match rankings now, just to remind ourselves. Pmpl Esports picking up 20 points with that last winner chicken dinner of Phase 2. Is it going to be enough? We don't know just yet, but Zero Tolerance, we did see them break into the top 12 DK, so they have stolen it just at the last second.
Well, I can tell you it's been a really strong effort, right? I mean, looking at these points, 11, 11, 13, 15, 19, 20, right? You want to talk about teams really coming to the realization that this is their opportunity to step up and shine. I mean, what more could we have asked for, right? Blackjack bringing in an absolutely phenomenal performance, 7 eliminations, 1 million coming in with 9, 0 tolerance, 7, 19 points in total. I mean, Desert Flame also coming in there to 8th place with 6 points in total. Later, Legions of War, 8 in total. I mean, come on, right? This is what we wanted to see for that final match. The teams really, really rising to the occasion and just keeping it so dang contentious. I can't even English.
We love it. It's because you're too excited. Because, again, the performance from Blackjack Esports does mean that it's not necessarily a case that Zero Tolerance took the position away from Blackjack Esports. Blackjack might have moved up, and Zero Tolerance might have kicked someone else out. So those top 12 teams, they might look very different moving into our over rankings. But taking a look at the second page, as we know, still we're seeing teams picking up some great eliminations. Team Myth adding 6 to their tally. Mad Knights as well, making at least some sort of a little bit of a change, picking up 4. Titans only picking up 3. Doesn't mean that 1 million were able to close the gap just slightly. I don't think it's enough to, completely topple Titans from their ridiculous performance this week, but hey, at least we know where they might be heading. And of course, it starts to trickle down quite significantly. So unfortunately for the teams who weren't able to make those last minute dashes into the top 12 because Pmpl Esports just decided they want to raise their own bar, it's okay. We still got another week to come back into. And so far, I'm so delighted to see how the teams have just shaken things up.
Yeah, definitely stepping up on that regard. But, I mean, we're also seeing an entirely different change in the dynamic, right? Because we've been having teams coming through, having a bit of a struggle along the way, but really starting to find that rhythm, starting to find that momentum. We saw the rise of Desert Flame. We saw the rise of Blackjack come through. We did see Team Myth doing absolutely phenomenal things. But, of course, then we also had a good showing of consistency coming through from Darkness, right? Mad Knight also not doing bad. I mean, really keeping it up, making it so difficult for anyone around them to really get a clear and easy and comfortable play towards their current positioning. So I'm really loving the dynamic shift that the teams are bringing out on towards the battlefield. And I mean, it keeps everyone on their toes, keeps everyone guessing, and nothing is for certain. Of course, speaking about that, let's take a look at a few of the highlights from this past match.
And of course, thanks to Oppo Moments for making it happen. As we can move on in, it was Leaders Esports picking up those early eliminations. How much, of course, that all ended up in Desert Flame. And VST having a bit of a head-to-head as Sixgod then became the last remaining member and had to literally run for the hills as the surviving member. But they did well to actually get out of the situation and survive on even past this.
Yeah, I mean, really showing the competence coming through as the teams kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, look at that nade from Powerboy, right? Picking up Desert Flame, stopping them in their tracks. But then we got down to this final shuffle. Looking to see who's going to be the one to pick it up, right? Between Zero Tolerance, just holding those positions. I mean, what more could we have asked for? But of course, well, while we anticipate everything, we are going to be moving into a very quick break. So be sure to stay tuned and we'll be right back with our final results. Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Fall 2022 season. We've concluded all 5 of our large maps for today. We've also concluded all 20 maps for this week to see who will be the teams to move through over on towards Livik. We are waiting on the edge of our seats to find out who that will be and whether or not we are going to be seeing teams potentially rising to the occasion once again. Of course, we are going to be starting it off with our first page. Not a lot of major changes coming through on this side, but it is still going to be a really amazing page to be looking at, right? Titan Gaming, 2 points away from hitting 350 points in total. 7 winner chicken dinners coming through in just this week. Absolutely insane. But we are seeing our team that led the push last week, Slime 4KT, sitting all the way there in 5th position with 168 points. We got VSC also then rising up into 8th place. But I'm really loving the approach that with teams are bringing through. Team Myth also looking really, really strong. We know last week that they ended off at this stage all the way in 11th. So I'm loving these extra efforts that the teams are able to secure.
And VST just stealing away that 8th position from Team Lag, where they started at the beginning of today. So a fantastic jump up for some of these teams, finding themselves obviously in a better position for those bonus points. Obviously, we know these teams definitely going to be playing on Livik, so they can still make some slight adjustments moving on into that last map of the day. But here it is, the second page of the day, and the last teams that will be joining us on Livix. It's Zero Tolerance, it's Blackjack Esports, Virtual Gaming, and Pmpl Esports with that last winner, chicken dinner, coming on through, making it happen for them to get up into the top 12.
Absolutely amazing stuff to come through indeed. But, you know, this is going to be, of course, Zero Tolerance's first opportunity to see what they can achieve moving over in towards Livik. And as we know, VST, they were the team to pick up that winner chicken dinner over on Livik last week. Who will be the next one to do exactly that? Could it be another repeat for VST? Or could we see a bit of change, right? But as we move on further down that list, you can see Legends of War rising all the way into that 16th position. I mean, almost doubling the points that they were able to secure just last week. And look at Desert Flame. They also pretty much doubled their points from the previous week.
Quite literally so close in doubling their points. That is a huge step up. And we keep talking about it, but now that we have the numbers to actually physically see what a change these teams have brought in. As you mentioned, Desert Flame, they ended last week on 68 points, now finishing with 120. I mean, just in general, as we go down the leaderboard, we were talking about it off camera, the teams picked up so much more points. You pointed it out, that it's just so much more contentious and healthy for these teams to pick up these beautiful points. I mean, triple digits all the way into the second page. That goes to show something beautiful, even to the third page with Arab Golden picking up 101.
Yeah, I mean, really loving the efforts being brought in from the teams. Definitely raising that bar as high as they can find it. I mean, looking at the players here from Mad Knight, it's unfortunate, but as you've said before, right, we need someone to be on this page, right? We can't have everybody situated on that first and second page, unfortunately. But still, some really strong efforts being brought through by the teams. We've seen that increase in performance coming through from Darkness. We've seen that also then come through from our other teams that have been able to break away, right? Legends of War was one of the other teams we were looking at. Zero Tolerance definitely just catapulting themselves much further up. And of course, there's a Flame, who we also had sitting on this side of the page. So that makes me quite hopeful to see what the teams are going to be bringing through as we move into our third week of play, to see how many points and what positions these teams were able to secure going through that final week of performances.
And that's so good just to see the swap up in teams, just the swap up in names. I mean, to find almost an entirely different third page than what we saw in the first week goes to show how the teams have stepped it up. Yes, the teams that had that pressure point that you and I were sitting and screaming at, saying, listen, we need these performances to come on through because we know that they're capable of it. And boom, they go to show it immediately with some fantastic performances all across the board. So Livik, I feel like, is going to be an absolute banger of a match because now, once again, it's not just a case of going into that map with maybe 1, 2, or 3 teams that were really sort of punneling some crazy points. Everyone who's in that top 12 has really stepped up in a massive way. And of course, we know it's so tiny. So many third parties that are going to happen.
Yeah, it is quite tiny. But you know what's not tiny? Our sponsors, right? So first up, gotta give a big shout out going out to Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner right here for the PUBG Mobile Pro Leagues. And it's actually quite fitting because we have a monster truck of on Livik. So I want to see a little bit of that monster action come through. But yeah, much love going out to Monster Energy. Thank you for being part of this event. And aside from Monster, we also have to give a lot of love over to Oppo. So Born to Win, welcome to the exciting match brought to you by Oppo. Get your gamer mode on with the much loved Reno 7 series. And as you've pointed out that the color down there, I called it yellow and you said it's actually pumpkin.
Mustard. But you were close.
Well, whatever. Same thing.
Well,
It's not yellow.
I think it's mustard. It looks
Yeah.
gold from this angle. But when we were watching the advert, it looked like mustard. So either way, it looks cool. It's got like a leathery feel to it, which is really, really sick for a phone.
Well, I mean, speaking about mustard and gold, right? The opportunity for teams to come in chasing that gold is just around the corner. As we are getting ready to get up in towards Livik, as we saw quite a bit of action coming through just last week when we moved up into it. But this is where the excitement starts to come through, right? Our 12 teams have been locked in. They've been loaded up. Now, just ensuring that all the seat belts are secured and all the trays are in the upright position, and also that the seats have been returned to their original position. But we'd love to hear what our viewers are thinking, right? What are your predictions moving in towards Livik? Of course, you can tell us over on social media. You can hit us up right here on YouTube. Also, reach us on Facebook as well as on TikTok. But be sure to include the hashtag Pmpl Africa. Tell us, who do you think is going to be the team to take the winner chicken dinner over on Livik? Is it going to be VST Gaming once again? Or could it be any other team rising to the occasion?
And DK, since you've been making me do predictions all day long, I'm going to ask you, how's that flight path going to be looking?
Ooh, it's going to come in from Estate and head straight down to Dry Dock.
Okay, you are very... I'm trying to say, are you cheating somehow? That
No,
doesn't look...
no,
that
you
was-
know that I'm not cheating because you can see what I see.
I can see what you see, so how... Okay, if it does happen...
I'm good. If it happens, I'm good. If it doesn't happen, nah. They weren't listening to when I called out the flight path, so whatever.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Maybe PUBG Mobile will just do the opposite just to spite you, but then technically you would still be right because then it did listen to you. So yeah, we'll take a look at it as we jump in to the last match of Phase 2. DK, this is going to be the one.
Yes, it is indeed going to be the one, right? So I said flight path from Estate to Dry Dock. Well, I'm pretty close to that, right? It is Livik. It's a really tiny map. As you can see, the flight path starting over on the western side. Not exactly Estate, but it's close enough. It is, however, still ending up in Dry Dock. So this time around, we need to see where that zone's going to be going. We know last week it went towards Midstein and the surrounding area, right? That's where it kind of centered up. But now we got to see where it's going to be going this time around, right? Are we going to be having more of that Midstein action? Or could it maybe move elsewhere? Could it go to Grabgrass? Could it go to Hot Springs? Could it go to Eastport? Where's it going to be moving next? So we are going to be starting off with our very first zone to see what the teams will have to work with and how aggressively they will have to get themselves repositioned.
Moving into this one, I feel like a lot of the teams definitely have that momentum. Triple Esports, Zero Tolerance, Blackjack, they have to be reeling. They just have to be having so much energy moving into Livik in the fact that they qualified for this within one day. They made it happen. They got themselves the opportunity they wanted. So all of these teams also can just bat themselves on the back for the fantastic performances as we lie in wait and anticipation of that first zone. Of course, we do see Zero Tolerance and Slime 4KT taking a little bit of a closer opportunity towards each other, but Paradox all the way down. So it's a 3-1 split, and Zero Tolerance obviously might look for that rotation.
Yeah, we also have Soul Esports and Virtual Gaming up towards the more northern territories, right? As we can see them, they're up in Hot Springs, going for a little bit of a chill and jacuzzi. You know, nothing like a little bit of a hot spring and a nice chilly day. But, you know, they're not going to be feeling much of the effects of that. It is, however, going to be one shot pretty close in proximity as we see our zone now appearing over on towards that lovely western side.
Ooh.
So it is going to be, you know, Crabgrass being pretty much centered, at least for this first initial stage.
Yeah, so just being the neighbor here to Midstein, so not a crazy shift from the previous moment. We're still following that same horizontal plane, but of course Raouf being taken on out as Slime 4KT and Virtual Gaming have picked up a fantastic start to their elimination points here. And Slime 4KT, of course, they're still looking for a little bit more. Zero Tolerance now finding themselves sandwiched here in between Slime and Leaders.
Ooh, yeah, I'm loving this kind of three-way play that it is taking on here. There's going to be Slime looking to find a bit of an opportunity, but Vortex on the ready is going to be stopping Pronto in their tracks. Koa and the rest of the team now quickly rotating on forward as well. But they need to be rather swift because Leaders are also now starting to get themselves set up for a bit of an ambush. It's going to be Lord to fall next. Let's see where this is going to be going. And will it be Slime 4KT to get that first squad wipe?
Coming on through, Lord going to be going down. Slime 4KT holding a fantastic opportunity, but of course we know Koa is still involved. And we saw what Koa did last time on Livik, moving on in with a phenomenal clutch. So, I don't know. My bets won't be really on Zero Tolerance if Koa has stepped up the game once again.
Well, I mean, Koa definitely being quite a formidable force, but Vortex is going to get spotted out as Carry Boy steps up, and here's going to be Zero Tolerance to fall first, as it is Leaders Esports get that squad wipe. But Slime 4KT picking up the majority of those eliminations. We can see the three alongside their name, but now they are going to be taking their aim at Leaders. Morteza, of course, cooking up a bit of a nade, does receive quite a bit of damage, but Wasted now pushes through onto Plaza, and down they go.
Oh, not the opportunity they were looking for. Morteza now circling around Koa looking for that. Just that line of sight, that angle. Storm as well, a little bit more split up, unfortunately having to deal with their own two from Leaders Esports moving into their territory now. So it is going to be up to the individuals here of Slime 4KT to hold the line. Storm just gets burnt to an absolute crisp. And now all of the hopes and dreams of Slime 4KT once again fall onto Koa's shoulders.
Yeah, Koa no stranger to this. As we know, Koa quite a formidable opponent. But, you know, Leaders, they have the more favorable numbers, right? It's going to be a 1v4. That's never stopped Koa before. But maybe it could be Leaders to stop Koa in their tracks. We can see Wasted Morteza on the approach. Morteza being one of our MVP contenders for this week. So let's see where this will go. It is going to be, Koa to find a beautiful knock on towards Wasted. 1 down, 3 to go. Up comes Morteza. Down goes Morteza. 2 down, 2 more to go. Koa still holding strong. Now taking aim over towards Scary Boy. Down they go as well. And now Shadowwind, the final hope left for Leaders. Getting ready for a bit of a push. Shadowwind having the more favorable health bar here. But let's see, is that going to deter? Oh, no, it won't. Koa steps up, but down they go. Shadowwind narrowly taking down Slime 4KT.
Yeah, I'm going to add that. Narrowly. We just saw Koa nearly pull off that 1v4. That was insane. Managing to take down 3.5 of Leaders. So unfortunately, that final push just didn't quite come through. But hey, that gave me a little bit of goosebumps. Moving on in, it is 1 round and 1 million who find themselves in very close proximity to one another. Very, very close as well to Crabgrass in terms of the central position of the zone. But again, we've seen this before. Literally in the last Livik, it was 1 million and 1 round finding each other first on Livik. I feel like in the exact same positions, in same buildings, again.
I mean, the map's only that big.
Yeah, but I mean, surely you change it up.
Yeah, I know. I mean, why break it if it ain't? Why change it if it ain't broke, right? So it's gonna be Venom and the rest of 1 million now, looking to ride out the wave, looking for a bit of an opportunity to play at here. But I mean, I'm still waiting to see what VSC is gonna be doing, right? We know they brought in the winner chicken dinner last over on Livik. Currently, we see them over towards Old Plaza, taking a slow, steady approach. Blackjack, of course, just a little bit further up ahead of Leaders Esports. But Titan, they're going to be slowly starting to push in towards Crabgrass. Maybe going to be making a rotation towards that kind of mid-sign position. Or they could even be trying to take a position alongside the players there from 1 million. As we know, such a tiny, tiny map. All these positions are pretty accessible to pretty much everyone.
Oh, absolutely. And Lazy Boy just looking in Senkei's eyes. Some good moves. We like it.
Pep talk.
Pretty good.
That was a pep talk.
Pep talk. Yeah.
Yes.
They're staring deeply into one another's eyes and saying, listen, we are winning this. This is going to be ours. We need to get some good points. But again, I don't think 1 million is really in danger of having their position taken away from. Same could be said here for Titans. They have just had such a phenomenal day as we moved on through. But still not over just yet. Taking a look at this now, Virtual Gaming still having to make their approach into the zone, while YC just scouts out what's happening here between 1 round and 1 million. And again, if they watched the previous Livic, they would know that this is the drop sites of these teams, so maybe they are aware of who exactly is sitting around here.
I'm pretty sure that they know exactly what to expect up ahead, right? I mean, this is not their first time on Livic and surely not their last. But YC keeping a slow, steady position. Spots out E-Flex.
Ooh.
There we go. That's what we want to see. Beautiful hit. Moha, Knight, Chico. Now knowing that they need to keep their positions pretty decisive here. Moa trying to get around. Deploys the smoke. And that's going to allow a bit of an opportunity. But, you know, YC's not going to be falling for that. Instead, looks to put the spray through. But unfortunately, that wall just being so dang pesky.
Oh, so dang pixie. But as we look on through, Knight going to be sending out a beautiful nade. Is going to be making the connection. Nope. No, not quite yet. Not going all the way, but YC will hold the angle for the time being while Senke finds at least a hit onto Hemo. So quite a bit of a reach across, but again, Seoul Esports, they do need to be careful. They don't want to find themselves in that sandwich between 1 and 1. You know who I'm talking about. Titans, of course, moving on in there towards Crabgrass to take a fantastic opportunity here, but Leaders and Blackjack have me thinking here that something might occur as they try and take that rotational path.
Yeah, I mean, they're up in towards that power plant position, so maybe something could happen on that front. But for the time being, a lot of the pressure is going to come through between Seoul and the one-on-ones, right? 1 round, going to be keeping a steady angle here. They've patched themselves back up. Not going to be finding themselves in any less than favorable positions. But as we jump back over on towards Blackjack, they are still keeping the angles pretty tight here on Leaders, right? But Carryboy, Shadowin, not going to be pushing out too aggressively, at least not for the time being. I mean, they're only 2 players, so they are going to be changing up the strategy ever so slightly. They want to play for that more longevity.
Yeah, just moving on in, trying to change it up just towards the end. But as we can see here, Leaders, of course, they are down to only 2. You've got Blackjack Esports moving on in with a full squad. So if they are to take this engagement, and I mean, at this point, they might be forced to, as they try and take the rotational path in, it's going to be tough. They literally are going to have to keep their heads on a swivel and ensure that they do not drop a single number. And of course, that is going to be the sting of Koa, just riding on Leaders' conscious as they move on through. It is Triple Esports now potentially finding Titans here.
Ooh, I mean, a nice rotation coming through from Triple Esports, moving into these lovely compounds. But Titan already anticipating a potential play, taking a decent spread there, as you can see Puncher and the rest of the crew now just kind of spreading themselves out, looking to bring in as much coverage as they can find. But Chemo's also now doing the due diligence, and this is the beauty about Livic, right? As you might be laser focused on one particular direction, and you could easily find an opposing team moving up from a direction which you weren't really paying too much attention to.
No, absolutely not. So here, P6 now reaching across, trying to see if they can find anything alongside Teak. M7MD is out in the open, well, at least in the window, to just spot them out. 7 Reef will be making a bit of a dash up a little bit more towards the northern position, potentially just scouting up a next opportunity for a pathing here. So Blackjack Esports now holding the line, but we do see VST. Are they moving in more south to actually take this third party? I saw a little bit of shift there. I saw a little bit of a shift.
They're just staying active, right? Making sure that they are limber, right? You don't want to get caught out in an altercation and not be able to react, right? So they're just keeping themselves healthy, moving, doing a few push-ups, as we can see there, of course. But now as we wait to see where this next phase is going to be going, we do see the Blaze there from Virtual Gaming starting to rotate up alongside that northern approach, coming in alongside the players from Myth. Ooh, but now the zone focuses even more towards that southern position. And now 1 million, 1 round, and the rest of the lobby pretty much situated on the very edge of the zone. And it's going to be a smooth sailing play here for Virtual Gaming. Should they decide to focus on purely the rotation, they can do exactly that. But it's Virtual Gaming. They're not going to do that, right? They're going to look down on towards the place here for Myth, trying to pick up a few more eliminations.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Get rid of another competing team. I saw that P90 lying on the floor there, so very, very, very tempting. But of course, Virtual Gaming now moving on in closer and closer to this position. We do see at least one little bit of a dash coming through from one shot, maybe looking for a flanking position or just trying to get themselves... Well, actually, it was Gaddafi moving in to fetch one shot. I don't know where my brain went for that one. But still, it's 4 players here for Virtual Gaming. The 2 from Myth do seem to be moving a little bit closer towards the western portion or the northwestern portion of the zone, just trying to make that disengagement happen here. So we won't be seeing Virtual Gaming finding them just yet. But of course, as we know, 1 round, 1 million, holding the line. And Moha has actually taken a beautiful flanking opportunity here. So they have a very, very good angle to get involved.
Yeah, they definitely have a quite the formidable angle to play at here. But let's see where this goes, right? We know last week, Titans, they finished up in 5th overall. Coming away with the 7 points to their name, taking a very interesting position. But let's see where this is going to go, what that will result in. As 1 round, I'm going to be keeping a very steady angle, very steady eye here. Looking to find that first elimination. Does put in quite a bit of a damage. But Virtual Gaming, they're not seeming all too phased, right? They are instead going to come rushing straight on forward. Gaddafi now going to be taking quite a bit of damage. But this is that play, that roll down the hill, trying to find the more ideal position to rotate in towards. And of course, they are isolating Knight right here as they move on forward. But a little bit of a stuck play coming through, right? These shotties not really finding the angles just yet. Oh, but there we go. 1 shot, landing one of those many shots that they just sent out.
Jumping on in with a shot. He's finally making those connections. 1 round in the meanwhile have lost Knights and now are looking to hopefully try and recover Chico, but the HPs will just keep on moving on in. 1 million just getting the re-knock and looking now for Moha as their position has been caught out. Eflex Chico down. Virtual Gaming moving on in. 1 round not looking too great.
Yeah, definitely not looking too great, but let's see where this will go, right? They are going to be trying to make a bit of a play for it still. We still see the players from Seoul holding on to that far southern position alongside the players there from VST. Now, VST, quite the team to be looking at over on towards Livik. But as we know, Seoul last week, they got sent out in 12th place. This time around, they're still surviving, right? They're not going to be taking the plunge just yet. But up comes 1 million. Now going to be looking to find a bit of a rotational play to make moving in from the north. A very clear pathway, at least from what we can see going alongside this road. But on the edge, it's going to be VST and Seoul still trying to duke it out to see who will be the next team to rotate in towards the zone from this edge.
Taking a look at this now, YC just holding this line. Has spotted out Vivo in some scenario. You can see they're keeping their eyes perched to that situation. Because zone moving on in is going to force the issue. YC now starting to lose a little bit of that HP. We are 4 layers deep within the zone, so at some point or another that move has to be made. But the dash that they have to take into the zone, not far, yet very, very treacherous. As we can see, it's a bird already holding the angle, finding Omar, and now we still need to see how they might be getting their way in. YC, the last member here for Seoul.
Yeah, a very, very challenging play indeed as they continue to try and push further and further on forward. Nothing being certain just yet. The team's still trying to kind of find that more viable approach to be taking. And this is the beauty of it, right? This blue zone is going to be applying a lot of pressure, especially now on YC. But VSC also having to lick their wounds. We can see Fivo trying to push across. Zuxi trying to keep that extra bit of coverage. But up comes that quick elimination as that Leno now falls. This could be the play for YC to maybe rake in a few more. But does take quite a bit of damage as they are 5 zones deep. And that is going to be the end for Seoul Esports.
Yeah, again, the zone just making the move. But here we can see Virtual Gaming now trying to make a move onto 1 million as VST moves on in, finding the vehicles. An opportunity for them to really start, bringing in some of those bumper cars, maybe even taking out Virtual Gaming. But we'll have to take a look and see how they're going to take this approach. Gaddafi now repositioning. Lazy Boy going down. 1 million not looking too great.
Yeah, but still going to be trying to make a mad dash to get themselves back into that zone. Up comes Virtual Gaming, moving through from the eastern side. They have now are pretty much entirely enveloped by the blue. And this is where they're going to try and bring in a bit of that heal strat, but it's not going to be too easy to accomplish just yet. Titan, however, are going to be looking pretty amazing here. They've got a very dominating position up in towards the zone, and now they start to lay waste in the direction of the players from the side of Triple. But Virtual Gaming coming in alongside them as well. One shot will be ended right then and there. It now turns to Zeus. They final hopeful. Axa sends out the mollies, sends out the nades, try to create a bit of an opening. Carry Boy also going to be sneaking up the edge there alongside Shadowwind. And this could be a great opportunity, seeing that Titan is pretty much distracted with the teams over towards the eastern side.
Yeah, specifically 7 Reef just sending molly after molly, and now after the nades, and 7 Reef, then time is a little bit numbered here at this point in time. How do you make this dash? How do you get out of this situation? And when will Titans maybe make the push or the final connection? Holding just a building outside the zone. Shadowwind goes down, so now leaders down to 1 member remaining. So this is a Titan. This is a full squad of Titan up against now 3 teams with only maybe 1 member each.
Yeah, it's Titans versus the Stragglers, right? So here we go. Gary Boy trying to push in. Not quite sure if they're going to be able to get to Shadowwind, but that's going to stop Gary Boy, as we do see that knock now coming through on towards Titans as well. And it's going to be none other than Puncher to get knocked on down. Gary Boy still having a potential play to be made here. 7 Reef going to try and push up super low on that health bar as well. Oh, but it's going to be pretty much up to Gary Boy to lock it in. Finds a bit of a spray. Oh, does succeed in finding that 1 elimination. Oh, but down they go. Titans now look to have this match under lockdown. 7 Reef, the only player that can make anything happen right here. It is going to be a 1v3 situation. Spots at P6. Oh, but this could be the end. Up comes the rush. It's going to be a mad dash. And yes, Zeke locks it in. Pretty much securing the winner chicken dinner right here for Titan Gaming. Virtual Gaming still relying on Zeus. But that could be a very steady second place being taken by Virtual Gaming.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit of a push up here towards the end. Come on, a dancing move to sign us off on the last map of Phase 2 as Virtual Gaming secure themselves a second place. And Titans, oh wow, just running away with that first place finish. 3 players still left alive. A really dominating performance. And as we do just keep an eye out on that feed to see when Virtual Gaming may fall, or when Zeus may fall, as they are very much out into the blue. Let's see. 1 more medkit left. There it goes. 10 bandages. We got some heals off. There's the dancers coming on through. The laugh of laughter. And we will be finishing off Livik as Virtual Gaming finish in second and Titans take first. I like it. A little bit of a punch in the end.
Yeah, a little bit of a change up, right? But again, that winner chicken dinner going over to Titans. That being number 11, Titans reigning supreme, right? Locking in. Even more chickens. That's being their first Livik chicken, so well done, well deserved. 7 eliminations coming through from that. But what a nice change up that is, right? I mean, Titans, last week we saw them finishing in 7th place, right? They got taken out 7th over on Livik, and they were only picking up a grand total of 7 points. Eliminations, of course, for Titan was sitting on 6, but they definitely doubled down on the efforts moving into today. So what a glorious finish that was. But we also know we need to take a look and see what that match standings is. But what's your takeaway on Livik?
My takeaway on Livik, I do like it. I feel like it is a more chaotic map compared to Sanok. Obviously, just purely based on the sizing we have available. But it's also, it's interesting. It provides a little bit of an extra view into what we could be seeing from PUBG Mobile. But of course, we know that is going to have to wait just a while longer before we take a look at the match rankings and over rankings as we go to a short break and keep you on the edge of your seats. We'll be right back.